Here we go with another problem on the method of superposition to find the deflection of beams. So we have an overhanging beam, and how is this different from the previous example? Well, in this case, the UDL is on the entire span. Okay, so this is going to be fun. Watch this right till the end, and here we go. So what is the first thing that we'll do? We are going to consider this overhang portion first. I want all of you to pay attention to this very portion BC of the beam. What if we wish to replace the UDL on BC with respect to or with a single point load? Can this be done? It can be done. And let me just show this to you. We can replace all of this UDL with single point load. That single point load would have a magnitude of WA. Why? The reason being very simple, because this UDL has a magnitude of W per meter. That means for 1 meter, it's W newtons. So for A meters, it is going to be W times of A newtons. Okay. And this essentially is at a distance of L over 2, or I can write it as A over 2. So here we go. Any issue? Okay, so far so good. Now I am going to add two forces at this very point, and I want you to make a judgment as to whether there is going to be any change in the equilibrium of the equilibrium of the beam. Have a look. WA downwards, WA upwards at the same point, at this point B. Okay, does this hamper the equilibrium of the beam? No, it doesn't. So what we can do is, if you have a look, these two forces, WA, these two forces actually are parallel to each other. Let me write it down. They are parallel to each other. They are equal in magnitude. They are separated by some distance. And this actually constitutes what is popularly known as the couple, whose magnitude is basically is the product of the magnitude of any force multiplied by the distance between them. So the force happens to be WA times of D. D is nothing but A over 2. Okay, so we can essentially replace these two forces with a couple of magnitude, that is WA square over 2. Let me do it over here. WA square over 2. Okay, that's one force WA. It stands here in the downward direction, and there is another couple acting at B. This is how it goes. So far so good. Let me make some space. I think we can get rid of this. What we are basically doing is we are playing with the loading. Okay, we are changing the sort of loading, not changing exactly, since we have to deal with formulas, and the formulas that we have, they only correspond to either a simply supported beam or a cantilever beam. Okay, we don't have separate formulas for overhanging beams. So in order to make things work for us, these are the changes that we have got to make. Okay, all right. Now let me shift this over here, and as you can see, there is a simply supported beam. I am just considering the portion of the beam which is to the left of B. The portion to the right of the B will be considered. Don't worry, we'll take that into account. But right now, I want you to think of this particular portion as being decomposed into a UDL. This is a UDL. Okay, and here there is no UDL, but we have to place this force in the downward direction and then accompanied with a couple. Now you need to search for formulas as well. Now think about this portion BC. Let me place it here. So there is a UDL. Okay, so if there is this acting in the clockwise direction, there would be another acting in the anti-clockwise direction. So that would be WA square by 2. Same magnitude, the sense is different. That is all. Okay, and I discussed at length regarding converting this couple and this roller support into a fixed beam. To watch the previous video. Okay, in fact, the entire playlist of method of superposition and the playlist of deflection of beam can be accessed directly from the description. Okay, to go ahead and watch all of those videos. They are going to help you immensely. Now what? Now it's time to make the elastic curve. What do we want? We want the deflection at end C. Okay, how NC behaves due to this load, due to this couple, and due to this load, that is what we are interested in. And whatever it takes to calculate YC, we are going to do it. Let me show the elastic curve. It would bend in this fashion. Here we go. Okay, I had to make this portion, right? I wish to see the influence of this UDL. The beam would bend in this fashion, and over here you can draw a straight line right away, no issues. Okay, we just wish to see what happens. Okay, so YC can be calculated using theta B1. I'll get to that part. Now here the sort of movement is clockwise. Okay, and if you observe carefully, it tries to bend the beam in this form, and then there is a straight line, curve followed by a straight line this way, isn't it? I'll let you know how YC1, YC2 can be calculated based on slope alone. Okay, now so this is a sort of hogging case, this is a sort of case sagging case. Okay, and finally this is very simple, this way. That's how the beam would bend. Now we come to the part of extracting the formulas. Okay, and one more thing, I think we had discussed this in our previous lecture. YC is essentially, YC1 is theta B1 times of length BC. Okay, you can write 2 also, 2. Okay, and for YC3, direct formula for a cantilever beam subjected to UDL can be employed. Done. Shall we go ahead? Okay, here we go. So I've used this formula. Okay, so this is basically a formula which is used when a simply supported beam is subjected to a uniformly distributed load, and at this very point we get the slope. This is theta B1. Let me show the formula to you. Here it is. Simply supported beam with a UDL. Okay, with a UDL, and the slope at this point is same as the slope at this point, which is maximum, right? So that's WL cube over 24 EI. I don't give a damn about the negative sign. Negative sign simply indicates if it is measured clockwise or anti-clockwise, right? It does not matter to me. Okay, I know the directions and I have shown them in the diagram itself. So I have theta B's value. That's how theta B is. What is W? W is W. What is L? L is A plus A. That's 2A. Plug in all of these values. Try to simplify it. Okay, that's the simplification, by the way. That's the simplification. You can also write it as 8A cube. Let me write it here. What did I just write? So I am now going to calculate YC1. Okay, so this is theta B1. That's theta B1 multiplied by LBC. LBC is nothing but A. Very simple. Okay, let me simplify this and write it down. So far so good. Now in the same fashion we are going to do a calculation for this part where a simply supported beam is subjected to a couple at the end B. The formula is M naught L over 3 EI. Let us check, confirm. Simply supported beam subjected to a couple at this very end. The only difference is here the couple is such that it tends to bend the beam in a sort of sagging case. Our couple is such that it tends to bend the beam in a sort of hogging case. Okay, that's the only difference. However, the magnitude is M naught L over 3 EI. So I shall use it. Right? So M naught is basically WA square over 2. Let me write it down. Okay, times of L. L happens to be, this is L. A plus A, that is 2A for you. And yeah, you simplify this. Okay, let me show this to you. And by the way, I forgot something. This over here is YC. This is YC2. This is YC1, YC1, YC2. YC2 is equal to this over here represents this represents the slope WA cube over 3 EI, okay, times of this distance, that is your LBC, right? When you do that, you get the deflection because of this couple. Okay, simplify it. Done. So far so good. Now we come to the final part, and I have to erase this final part. Even this got erased. C. Okay. WL raised to 4 over ATI. Let's confirm. A UDL case of a cantilever beam. Here we go. That's a cantilever beam subjected to a UDL, and the deflection at the free end is given by WL raised to 4 over ATI. Negative sign simply indicates that the direction is downwards. Here we go. I don't care about the signs. I know the direction is downwards. Okay. All right. So you have this. W is W, L is A. So you can replace L with A, and this is the expression that you have. And now you know this is positive. It is upward. This is negative, and this is also negative. So write them down. Take the algebraic sum. You have the deflection. Okay. Very easy. You solve it. This is what you get. That's your final answer. Downward, right? That means you have a negative sign. Okay, don't worry. So the problem is over. What I want you guys to do is, I want you to find the slope and deflection at D. And whatever answer you get, write them down in the comments. Okay. And I will reply to your answers for sure. Right? So guys, yes, that was all from my side for today. This is Manas Patnaik signing off. Take care and have a nice day.